Music is a type of art that is able to go from its musical form and impact the world in a multitude of different ways. In the past, certain artists have taken music's ability to make change and have made a positive impact in the world. Bob Marley is one of these artists, and the impact he had on Jamaica, as well as the rest of the world, during his lifetime is one of the most extraordinary events to have ever taken place in the world of music. Marley took his upbringing and his environment and interpreted it in ways that had never been done before in Jamaica. He spoke out against political, social, and economic problems that existed in his country and did so in a way that affected people's lives like never before. Bob Marley revolutionized the way people thought and the goals people had in their lives. Because of this, he will always remain as one of the most important people in Jamaican history.
I don't really have no ambition, you know. I only have one thing that I really like, yeah. I like some mankind live together. Black, white, shine, anyone. You know what I mean? That's
Bob Marley was born in St. Anne's, located in the countryside of Jamaica. He was born of a white father named Norval Marley and of an African mother named Sedella Booker. His father left his mother and him when he was a young boy, and at the age of 12, Marley would move to Trenchtown. This is one of the most notorious slums found in Jamaica and is located on the outskirts of the capital city, Kingston. Growing up in the Trenchtown ghettos would prove to be critical in the creation of Bob Marley's perspective and would play a huge role in the way he made music. Living in Trenchtown, Marley saw the trials and tribulations faced by the inhabitants of the Jamaican slums. In turn, his work reflected his desire to change these conditions and to provide people with optimism in their lives. Marley's music encouraged the poor to take action regarding their current situation, but not in any violent manner. He encouraged them to not let money be the center of their existence, and although it is necessary to survive, it should not be the source of your happiness. He believed that happiness was not going to be found through material goods, and that you should appreciate life for what it is. Despite believing that life was more than materialism, he understood firsthand how living in the slums was a struggle. As a result, his music revolved around addressing the hardships faced by the inhabitants, but in a way that shed light on the positive things that existed in everyone's lives.
Money out of your music?
money. I mean, how much is a lot of money to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Have you made, say, millions of dollars?
No.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
You have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
Beyond Bob Marley addressing the economic problems that were plaguing the Jamaican people, he also did a lot in regards to race.
My father's a white and my mother black. No, them call me half caste or whatever. Well, we don't dep on nobody's side. We don't dep on the black man's side nor the white man's side. We dep on God's side. The man who created me, who caused me to come from black and white.
As stated in the previous clip, Marley was of mixed ethnicity. The fact that he was half white and half black resulted in a lot of ridicule from the people around him, and as a result, he found himself constantly trying to prove that he was a member of their society regardless of his ethnicity. As he grew older, his mixed identity and the treatment he received for it gave him a unique perspective on race relations. He was able to sympathize with African Americans for the persecution they received in the world during the 60s and 70s, while at the same time, he never felt like he had to attack people for it. He saw human beings all the same, and this message found its way into his music time and time again. Marley reminded people that race was insignificant in the spectrum of life, and that the true suppression was coming from a lack of action and personal knowledge. He encouraged the people to stand up for their rights as humans, and not to let the color of their skin define them in the world. The political violence that was taking place in Jamaica during Bob Marley's life was unlike anything us Americans can really imagine. The two political parties, the People's National Party and the Jamaican Labor Party, fought each other almost like rival gangs. The violence reached everyone in the country, and while Bob Marley was away in Europe, the violence continued to escalate. Political leaders in Jamaica realized the impact Marley had on the Jamaican society, and they encouraged him to return to Jamaica and do a peace concert to help remediate the problems.
The government was begging because they said Jamaica is lost without Bob Marley. We can't say Bob is in exile. So they got one of their main leader, Claude Massa, to speak to Bob.
Marley agreed, and he returned to Jamaica to play a concert that would end up having one of the most iconic moments in Jamaican history. The concert would be known as the One Love Peace Concert. During the show, Marley called the two rival political leaders on stage and joined their hands together over his head. This was a symbolic gesture to the people of Jamaica, showing that even two people that were essentially enemies could come together and be at peace. He was showing the people that violence was going to get them nowhere, and that a peaceful political system was essential to see any real progress in their lives. All of these elements that existed in his life and in his music finally came together when the genre of reggae began to take off in Jamaica. Marley was a pioneer in the genre and is undoubtedly the most recognizable figure in the music, and for a good reason. Reggae music came onto the Jamaican music scene directly after Jamaica gained independence on August 6, 1962. As the country was looking for a new way to define itself, reggae music became the perfect outlet for artists who had something to say. Bob Marley's music was filled with messages of consciousness and intelligence. His music was militant, yet was presented peacefully and lightheartedly. His lyrics were elegant, but they were easily understood and relatable by his audience. His lyrics were ingrained with religious ideology of the Rastafarians, yet were still pertinent to people who were non-religious. As the genre began to become more popular, Marley became the undisputed leader of the reggae movement. In the years to come, this music movement would eventually project him into worldwide superstardom. Bob Marley was one of the most gifted songwriters to ever come out of the small island of Jamaica. He made an impact on people's lives that was more influential than anyone else's during his short life. He preached only positive messages to people all over the world and offered an escape to the injustices that people were facing in their lives. Marley's life was cut short due to melanoma that was found on his toe, which consequently ended up spreading to the majority of his body. He will forever be remembered as a hero in Jamaica, and his music continues to make a positive impact on the lives of people all over the world.